everyone, thanks so much for being here. My name is Kat and I make houseplant videos here on Good and Planty. If you just so happen to absolutely love this video, please consider liking it, commenting, subscribing, or following me on Instagram. All of these things help me grow my channel like a plant. Today is the long-awaited houseplant tour in my new space. I am so excited to get into this and share everything with all of you. So much has changed since my last houseplant tour. My collection is different, my home is different, I am different. My house is not perfect right now. I still have a lot of plants on the floor, I have shelves to hang, the whole thing, but I honestly just didn't want to wait any longer. I was too excited, and yeah, it's just kind of, it's a little bit more real, as they say. With all that being said, we are going to jump into it. Okay, we are starting in my bedroom today. I am doing my best to find the perfect angles possible. Let's start with this little shelf here. It's the backdrop of a lot of my videos. Honestly, it's one of my favorite little displays that I have going on. Right here, we have the Philodendron Brazil. She is a beautiful plant. In the middle, we have my Philodendron micans. That is exciting because it's actually a full propagation plant from my mama micans that you can see over there. Then all the way to the right or left, I guess you're left, I don't know, we have the Monstera adansonii, and that one is funny because a lot of you know I was not interested in I always want to call it a philodendron, in a Monstera adansonii for the longest time, but then one day I woke up and I really wanted one, so I got one, as we plant parents do. She has not disappointed at all. She has grown so much. She really fills the space well, and I'm just really happy with how this shelf came together. I have my little snake trellis back there, some little knickknacks that I love. I think it really adds a nice element to my bedroom where it's planty, but it's not overwhelming. Those are the three little plants I wanted to start with, but I also have a fun little plant on my nightstand. To accompany me every night at my nightstand, I have the Monstera siltepecana. She is a lovely plant known for that little silvery sheen on her leaves. I'm super proud of her because when I got her, she was kind of like maybe up to here, and I've sprouted a few new leaves throughout my move, which is a huge win in my book. I'm very proud of her and I love her on my little nightstand. I'm gonna move you over there. All right, next I wanna talk about a huge star of the channel. It was a little hard to get the camera over here, so I'm settling with this angle. But of course, we have to talk about Miss Philodendron micans over there. That is the mama plant that gave me this Philodendron micans. So she is a huge star. She is starting to grow on my ceiling, and I love her to the ends of the earth. But, oh, what's that over there helping her grow and be amazing and beautiful? Well, that is my Soltech Solutions light, who is also the sponsor of today's video. Soltech offers beautiful, effective grow lights that seamlessly blend into your home. I personally love Soltech so much because it is like a natural decorative light for me that very warmly illuminates the space without being this intrusive grow light with harsh white light or all the blues, purples, reds, you know the drill. I am so happy, with the aesthetic plus of having this grow light. It's perfect and it blends into my little minimalist jungle space fairly well, I would say. However, also obviously you want a grow light to actually help your plant grow, and Soltech also ticked that box for me too. The grow light is a full spectrum photosynthetic plant light. The one that you're seeing is the large aspect grow light. I've been using this light probably for about 4 months now. So I've really got to settle into using it and see how successful of a light it is, and I have nothing but positive things to say. I have noticed a lot more rapid growth coming from my micans, and it really helps encourage the vines to grow up towards the light source, whereas before I would kind of notice vines reaching away from the moss pole, whereas you want it to stick to it because they were trying to get to like a window light source or something like that. So the Soltech light has been really useful for things like that. I also personally, living by myself, I really appreciate how easy of an install this is. It comes with everything you need. You just drill in the few little hooks on the wall, you string the light through it, and then you plug it in. It also comes with a timer plug for your outlet, so you can just adjust it to whatever time you want the Soltech light on and you don't have to do anything manually, which is phenomenal, let me tell you. Some bonuses also include that the light lasts up to 15 years. They have free shipping and also a 5-year warranty. So if you want to check them out, I highly recommend it. You can use code GOODINPLANTY for 15% off your order, and I will have them linked down below in the description box. So huge thank you to Soltech. I love supporting a Pennsylvania company. And now that you've seen the philodendron micans, we can move on to the windowsill and some of my floor plants that I have. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna show these, but we'll get into it. All right, I think this is gonna be the easiest way to do this. So we will start off here with my Hoya obovata that I finally have, thanks to some of you good planters. I painted this pot in a recent video, and she's hanging out here on these books. I believe that this is an east-facing window, by the way, so it gets pretty good light, I would say, over here. This is my Hoya Silver Splash. She is a stunning little Hoya. Right now I just have her in some sphagnum moss, but I will transplant her to soil shortly. I just haven't had the time. Huge shout out to my friend that made this beautiful little seashell pot for me. It's from the sill and she just glued on these little shells she's found, so a big fan of that. And they're just resting on my books up here. And let's go over here to this windowsill. We have some type of monstera. I'm not really sure what kind of variegation she has, so I'm not going to speak on it. It's kind of up for debate and we will see as she gets larger, but she does have a new leaf on the way, which is very exciting. And she's some sort of variegated monstera, but that's pending. Next we have the Sansevieria Fernwood Mikado, I believe, or Mikado Fernwood? No, Fernwood Mikado. Probably my favorite snake plant. I honestly love how different she is. She kind of looks like grass in a pot, and I'm a big fan of it for some reason. Moving down, we have the Marble Queen Pothos in all her glory. My very sad and struggling Maranta. She is on the come up. I do have a propagation of her that got root rot, so I cut her out of the pot. You'll see her later, but this is the plant that actually managed to live. So she's on the rise, okay? Here is my rickrack cactus. Again, they're all just on the floor right now. They'll have permanent homes later. I just wanted them to get a decent amount of sun in between me trying to figure out where they're gonna live. They're all kind of doing okay, I think. Yeah, this is the rickrack cactus. Huge fan of her. My Hoya Sunrise. Ugh. Angel baby. Peperomia Frost with a little sad flower. Sorry about that one. She was dehydrated. I actually had her up in the window for a second, like up there, but she started burning at the ends. This is kind of what a peperomia looks like when they get too much sun. This was facing the window, so I moved her down here until I could find a better spot for her. This stunning little beauty is my Philodendron Florida Ghost. This is a good example of the variegation that they have. The newer leaves don't have it. I don't know. This is a constant struggle for me, but we'll figure it out. Sometimes I get variegation, sometimes I don't. It's a fun little game we're playing. This is the newest leaf coming in, so we'll see what she decides to present to me. Moving over, some random junk that I have. Well, not junk, I love that stuff. But here we have the Syngonium chiapense, one of my favorite plants if you are new to the channel. This is her newest leaf. We're getting a little bit smaller now that we're growing off the moss pole, so I think a chop, prop, and plug is coming soon, but I'll let her put out like a little bit more growth before I do something like that. Now, okay, I have to like scooch in. So down here, over here by my little matryoshka, we have a Hoya australis, and here we have my Hoya Jennifer and my Hoya Rebecca. She's a cutie. She's like a waterfall of leaves. Okay, under Cloche 1, we have this Alocasia dragon scale. She was burning up by the window, so I had to move her. I was kind of worried about that happening with her being under the like moist glass by a window. You know, it kind of sounds like it'll burn, and it did. But I moved her down here. Here's her other leaf, and then we do have a whole leaf on the way, so that's good. And this is some kind of node of something that was struggling, so I just threw it in here. Eventually I do want to transplant her into some soil because she's definitely way more stable than before when she was just this little wet stick right there. Well, not wet stick. What is that? A stump. And then under here we have a begonia from Daya. One of my last standing begonia after so many moves. This one I believe is the Maurice Amy, or no, this is the Crackling Rosie, I think. I get them mixed up, but I'll have the right name on the screen. You can see this beautiful little pink color. This is a newer leaf than this one, and I have a baby coming in, which is very exciting. She was like a little bit stagnant for a bit, so it's fun to see her growing again. And these two plants absolutely love their cloches. I mean, you can tell from the new growth. Just provides a lot of humidity, and they're super happy about that. Hoya Mathilde from A Good Planter. A lot of these, actually all of these upcoming plants are from Good Planters. So this is a Hoya Mathilde. There are a few little cuttings. Again, all of these upcoming ones I will transplant to soil, but for now they're just hanging out in the sphagnum they shipped in until I can get to that point. Dischidia ovata. Beautiful veins on this plant. I actually mistook her for a Hoya when I first unboxed her, but she is a Dischidia. This one here is, I have to read the cup that she came in. This is a Hoya Huschkiliana variegata. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. This is apparently a very good one. You guys were excited to see this in the unboxing video. The variegation is stunning. Like, I love this mint color that comes through with the dark green rim and then the cream in the center. Stunning. This is a Hoya enduensis. She has like these ripples on the edge, which is how I know this plant. The light just wants to illuminate her. It's so cute. Next up we have Hoya crinklate. Nobody corrected me on that, so I'm just running with it and assuming it is correct. And you can see the crinkles here with a little light splash on the leaves. And then last but not least, over here we have another Hoya obovata. When I kind of transplant some of these into soil, I will probably pot the two Hoya obovata together just to save some space and make it a fuller plant. And I love this little indent that makes it look like a heart. All right, we did this side. Now I have a little patch over here. Okay, let's get down to business. This plant is a string of hearts, and I'm actually shocked. You would think, they do get a decent amount of sun over here, but she has taken off. I haven't seen this plant grow so much. I've had her for over a year, and she is finally kind of coming into her own, which I love to see. This is my Philodendron Imperial Red that I saved from root rot. She was like 2 leaves a few years ago. Now we're kind of getting to a full established plant, and I'm working on getting the color right, but that's gonna take a little bit of playing around with the light, and right now she doesn't even have an official home, so that's pending. In the famous WAP pot, I know you guys all want to know where it came from. I don't know. It was a gift from my amazing little sister. I want to take a guess and say Etsy, but I could be wrong. And here we have my snake plant. Ew, oh my god, what is that? Is that a mosquito? Oh my god. So rude. Get out of here. Anyway. Sansevieria laurentii. This, I will make a note. I propagated this leaf and this leaf from the mama plant, but when you take leaf cuttings like that, the leaves that come in after will not have the yellow stripe on the outside. You can only maintain that if you do root division. So just as a little warning to you all, here is my Philodendron melanochrysum. I'm excited. I took a propagation from her and then she was completely stagnant for a very, very, very long time. I was getting worried. She was being very cactus on me, but here we go. New little leaf. I think they really like honestly the light over here, which is surprising because it's just shoved behind this door. But when the door is closed, they get very nice diffused light. And last but not least, we have this little guy. The name is escaping me right now. My brain is probably gonna turn to mush by the end of this video, but I will have the name on the screen. And this plant gets the most beautiful flowers. I got it from a friend. Shout out O'Neill. Yeah, I'm just really excited to see her take off. She's kind of starting to grow a little bit taller over here. And yeah, hopefully one day I get little flowers. And the last plant in the bedroom is probably, you would never guess based on its placement and how small it is, but this is my prized possession. It is the Syngonium Batik. I'm not gonna take her out of the cloche right now because you can see that the leaves are reaching towards the sun, which is coming from the window, and it's kind of pressing against the cloche, and I don't want to mess with it too much. Yeah, my prized possession. I was on the hunt for this plant for the longest time, and someone sent it to me, and she's doing pretty good, I think. Those are 2 leaves that I grew from my care. All of the original leaves did die off. So under the cloche she went. I panicked a little bit, but this setup, even though it looks a little bit funky, has helped her bounce back a ton. So I definitely recommend it. Before we move on to the living room, I just want to show this little pocket of plants sitting next to a water filtration system I need to sell. This is my philodendron burl marks. She's doing okay. I'm trying to make sure that while they're kind of staying in these random spots of my home, they get enough light. So if I crack this bedroom door open here, they do get light, even though it doesn't look like it. It kills me to have such a precious plant like the philodendron burl marks variegata here on the floor and not displayed in all her glory. Oh my god, this is such a nice leaf. Wow, so cool. Yeah, the minus of having all these plants on the floor is I don't get to appreciate them as much as some of the plants that are displayed already. So I'm just taking a moment to really appreciate how stunning this is. This is an original leaf from shipping that's kind of on its way out, but it's not done yet, so I'm not gonna snip it until it is. Wow, this is so pretty. Next to her, we have my Syngonium, what is she called? Oh my god, my head is going away. Let me Google it real quick. Oh, I didn't even need to Google it. Syngonium erythrophyllum. This side got too much light, if you can't tell, so sorry about that. But here are all new leaves. Believe it or not, from sitting right here, she has tons on the way. So she's on the come up. And these plants are well known for their red undersides. And this was a wish list plant of mine for a very long time. That is not lost on me. So sorry for all of this damage, but we're coming back. Then below her, we have the Hoya Shepherdii. Thank you everyone for helping me ID her. I could not remember that name for some reason. And she's in soil, so I might keep her in this cup for a minute. And then the last plant over here is my Aglaonema Wishes. She's doing okay. She could be doing better. Like, this leaf is probably gonna be a goner soon. I got this new leaf right here. She's a little small. I think she would actually, out of all these plants, appreciate a little bit more light. She always got a decent amount of light, and this is a little bit, probably a shock to her being in a slightly lower light environment, but I do have new growth coming in. It's just not super large yet. All right, now we are on the living room / kitchen leg of this plant tour, and behind me, we have the one and only my magnificent Monstera deliciosa that I've had for 2 or 3 years at this point. So proud of her because I've grown her from, I think, like a 6 or, no, not a 6, maybe an 8-inch pot. So this size means a lot to me since I've grown her up to this point. She is supported in the back by 2 little bamboo trellises because I wanted to make her a little bit more vertical. If you kind of let them grow out, they can definitely start to vine out of the pot and everything, but I wanted her to take up a lot of the wall space that I have, so I went ahead and did that. I have a bunch of plants kind of stuffed below her, so I'm just gonna hold them up so that you can actually see them. So we'll start off over here. I actually recently just talked about her in a video, but this is my Calathea rattlesnake. Beautiful, beautiful plant. And this is a size that I haven't, come across. Usually when I see them, they're sold in smaller 4-inch pots with leaves that are not as big as this one. And I'm just hoping I don't mess her up. This is good. This is like the challenge that I needed. And I also love the backside of these plants. Very beautiful plants. Next is the Hoya carnosa compacta. One of my favorites, I would say, overall throughout the collection. As always, I'm just gonna talk about how fun these leaves are. It's kind of what it's known for. Oh, it's just like a little, I say it every time, it's just like a little salad bowl, you know? And it's like so noodly and fun and different. And I love the texture it brings to any plant shelf or display or anything like that. I will be putting shelves up on this wall over here. I have just been putting it off. So she's gonna be one of the first plants I place on that wall because I think that she's definitely a statement piece and has picked up a lot over time. Like, these vines were not as long when I first got her, so I feel like we're kind of finding our footing and going down the right path. This plant is a little bit newer to my collection. I haven't really featured her yet. This is my Rhaphidophora decursiva, and I found her at the market for like, it was like 10 bucks or something like that, which felt like a steal since they used to be so expensive. The price has definitely gone down quite a bit, but to find a 4-inch pot with leaves as fenestrated and developed as this felt like winning the lottery. So I had to pick her up. I was like mid-move, and I have no room for new plants really, but she was an exception. I want to display her in the way that she deserves to be displayed. This is my Dracaena marginata, also my lucky plant since I got her as a gift after my childhood dog passed away. Not to make it emo, it's actually very nice to have this kind of, I don't know, symbol of that time period. This is like one of the most probably sentimental plants I have in my collection. This one's kind of hard to place because you want to give it space all around, like 360, so that it can really, you know, blossom. It can't really go against a wall or anything like that. In terms of display, this is probably one of my more challenging plants. However, she is worth it, and one day she will be a big tree. Okay, next up we have the Neon Pothos. I actually propagated her recently. My bathroom has no windows in it, no light or anything, but it felt so wrong to not have a plant in a room in my home. So I ended up actually just snipping her and putting the propagation in a little jar of water in the bathroom. And I was like, if it dies, it dies. But it's actually putting out roots with no light, which I don't recommend. I was just kind of gonna use it as like this disposable decoration for the time being. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of fake plants. I'm not gonna shame you if you are, but that was like the price I was willing to pay. But she's rooting, so maybe I will eventually pot her up in here as well and make it a little bit fuller. And you can see where I chopped it is actually putting out a new leaf right here. I'm tired of doing this. Philodendron Painted Lady. Here, this is another plant I actually chopped. I was a little bit worried about her coming back to life, but we do have some signs of growth. She is definitely, like, if you compare the newest leaf size to what it was before propping her, you know, it's smaller, but usually I notice after I chop a plant like this, the next few leaves are a little smaller, but then they kind of bounce back and get back to the original leaf size. I love this little reddish color. It's one of my favorite colors across my collection, probably. One of you good implanters helped me out to get her. You guys found a good deal. You found a good deal and you hit me up, and I was like, please send her to me, because that was back when this plant was extremely expensive and hard to find. She's still probably not the easiest plant to find, but I think prices have gone down quite a bit, which is very cool. I would love for this plant to be accessible. Okay, here we have the lemon lime philodendron, which is reminiscent of the neon pothos. When I first started collecting plants, I actually got them mixed up quite a bit. This one, the vines are a little bit skinnier, the leaves are softer and thinner, and yeah, she's been growing quite a bit. A pretty easy care plant, but this is one that I find getting leggy the longer she grows, so I'll probably have to propagate her eventually. All right, we're reaching the end slowly of the plants on the floor over here. This is my black gold goldfish plant, which is a variety of goldfish plant. I've talked about this plant a decent amount on my channel. I am a big fan of goldfish plants. I think that they are so easy, so vocal, and really fast, beautiful growers. On top of that, the flowers are to die for. They look like little goldfish. That's where they get their name from. She actually doesn't have any flowers right now, which is rare. She's been flowering so much recently. The leaves are still, I love the color on this specific variety. The regular goldfish plant is just green, but this one has like a little bit of a burgundy tinge to it, especially on the undersides. And I love it. She would probably appreciate a little bit more sun, but again, we're doing our best here. Last but not least, this plant is not on my floor. It is on my little dining table counter thing, but this is the Scindapsus. Scindapsus pictus agrarius, something like that. And she was given to me by a friend, so shout out to Val. I love how many plants of mine have come from other people. It makes it so like nice and such like a loving collection, I feel like. This plant has a legginess issue. I've talked about that before in some of my videos. I'm just kind of letting her do her thing for a bit. This plant, I will warn you, she's thirsty. She's a thirsty, thirsty plant. This plant is still in its nursery pot that it originally came in, which usually, you know, contains some more moisture and reduces the frequency of watering, but I feel like she's always thirsty. She's actually not thirsty right now, which is great. Very beautiful plant, low light tolerant. She's not like, well, she's under the skylight actually, which is awesome. I have a skylight up there that I put the Monstera under. I should have mentioned that. And I think it's been keeping all of these plants on the floor, you know, a little happier. Let's see, where should we go next? I'll bring you over here. Come with me. All right, I'm bringing you over here to my console area with plants that can handle a little bit of lower light. However, I do have another Soltech light that I'm going to install over here, and I think it's gonna really help out the plants on the moss pole. But wanted to address an elephant in the room, which is this. This is just one of the many ridiculous parts of being a plant parent, I think. Yeah, you're looking at like, I think there's 8 massive Miracle-Gro bags of soil behind me, and I just want to paint you all a picture of me coming home from a like 3-4 day stay in Scranton, vlog coming soon. Open the front door, ready to just plop in my bed, and there are just 8 individually wrapped boxes of soil going all up my apartment's staircase, blocking everyone from getting into their apartment pretty much. I panicked and carried all of those boxes up so fast, it completely wiped out my body. So yeah, I have all the soil. Miracle-Gro is not my first choice, but I had to like mass buy soil for a project / video coming out soon. So I had to go with the cheapest option, and yeah, this is what my living room looks like right now. Kind of ridiculous, but anyway. Over here on my console, I want to talk to you about a few of these plants. So right behind me, I have my Syngonium, Syngonium podophyllum variegata. That sounds right. She is growing up a moss pole and she has outgrown it up top. So I'm not really sure what I want to do with her yet. I keep chopping her, but like I can only chop her so many times before the plant is extremely unhappy, but I also don't want to extend the moss pole. I'm kind of happy with the height. I might encourage her to start growing up my wall a little bit, and I think the Soltech light I'm going to install above those 2 plants is going to really help out with that, so I'm very excited for that. Next to her, I have the subscriber plant, Throwback, which is a Hawaiian pothos, and she's been doing really well too, actually. The leaves are getting smaller, which I'm not a huge fan of. Hawaiian pothos can get really, really large leaves. Again, I'm excited to install the Soltech light there and kind of see what happens, and really encourage that upwards growth. Here I have, I need to change her water, but this is the sad propagation from my sad Maranta plant. She does have roots coming in here, you can see. I'll let her sit in this water that I will change, and then I'll probably just pot her back in with the other Maranta that you saw in my bedroom. And then over here, we have my Hoya pubic calyx. One of my first Hoya, very, very fun plant. The splash on these leaves is everything to me. Very beautiful. And I was sun stressing her for a little while. That stress is slowly fading because she's in a little bit of lower light. That's what happens when you sun stress a Hoya. You get reddish color, and it even showed up in some of the splash. The splash kind of turned pink on some of those. So we got her, and we also have this ZZ plant in a basket. The ZZ plant has not been doing much. If you give them proper lighting, they will thrive. They can grow actually kind of quickly, but I have not been doing that. I really take advantage of her low light tolerance and kind of use her to, you know, green up a low light space. Ooh. Oh my God, I'm getting growth. I have like a new shoot down there. Okay, I take it all back. She's doing great. She is doing something. And with all of that, we're gonna go to the kitchen. Ah yes, my kitchen, which is also my living room. There's a few plants over here I'll share with you. This, I believe, is a western facing window, but it's kind of one of those little pockets where the building kind of wraps around it, so it doesn't give me great light all day. This isn't like a very well lit space of my home. The skylight over there actually helps quite a bit. First plant I want to talk to you about, Hoya Curtsii. Recently shared her in my Hoya video. She's so tiny. I just added a little bit more soil to her, and her roots did not really show that she was ready to get bumped up, so I'm gonna let her kind of like sit in this pot for a little bit longer. I also have this jade plant with 3 things. Any scientific knowledge I have of plants at this point is out of my head. I have been filming for quite a bit of time. She's great. She's very vocal. Doesn't need to be watered all that often, especially since she's in a can that retains a lot of moisture. This was given to me by a good implanter, making me so happy yet again. When she's thirsty, you can squeeze her leaves, and if there's a lot of give, if there's some wrinkles, she's thirsty. If not, don't water her. I water her very rarely, honestly. She's a good one. This is a good egg. And then, of course, we have to talk about my Monstera propagation. She's been growing for a long time. This is probably one of the best leaves my Monstera has grown over time, and I wanted to share the wealth, so I propagated her, and the roots are coming along so well. Look at this. It is spiraling because of the vessel she's in, but that's okay. And at this point, I really need to get her into some soil. It took a while for her to like pop out any form of root, and I was getting a little bit nervous, but once that first sign of root comes in, like, you're good. This happened so quickly, the rest of the growth. It just took a minute for her to kind of start the process, I guess. And then behind me right here is my golden pothos. I put her on top of the cabinets and she kind of just spills over the side. As we all know, golden pothos are very easy plants, so she is totally cool with being where she's at. She's actually reaching for the window a little bit, which is sweet. Yes, pretty much it. I also have all of my veggies here. I'm growing some lettuce, some tomatoes, some basil, and I have one little lavender plant that's starting to sprout, which is cool. And I think that's it for the kitchen. So we have one more place to go. All right, now we are up by the entrance to my roof. So I had to put my succulents and cacti up here because this is definitely the highest light I get in my apartment, and I can barely see. Bear with me. I'm also hoping the audio is okay up here. I had to open the door to put the camera somewhere. Like I said, these are all most of my cacti and succulents, and I have they get a little bit neglected up here, so just, I'm sorry, okay? Here's a Haworthia. Beauty. I'm gonna kind of breeze through these. Another Haworthia. My sad little aloe plant. I'm really trying with her, but I need to remember to water her. They're not all super resilient up here. This is another Haworthia. Haworthia are probably my favorite succulents. I find that the variety is really, really cool. And this is one of those with like the translucent leaves a little bit. And I don't know, I really love them. Here is some kind of cactus. I'm not sure what kind, but I'm obsessed with the pot. It's a little porcupine cactus with the porcupine. Kind of clever, right? Another succulent. I don't remember the names of these off the top of my head, but I think I have some of the names archived somewhere, so I'll try to put them on the screen. This one's gorgeous. Oh, she's loving the light up here. This is fun. This little baby, I love her. Little cutie succulent. I have this little barrel looking cactus. I like how compact it is. That's fun. Ooh, this is my mama Horthia that the two other Horthia that I have that look like her came from, and she's got more babies on the way, so mama's busy in here. She needs some water though. Sorry about that, queen. This is her other baby. I showed you her first baby. This is the other baby, and another cactus. This is another pot I painted. Little cow pot. She usually has flowers, but she's not flowering right now. You can kind of see the flower carcasses around the rim of her, but her flowers are really cool. My euphorbia. She's growing. This is fun. I don't check on these plants enough. I really need to start checking on them and watering them. And I have this cool cactus. This one, the color got me. I really love the silvery green color from this one. String of pearls, a classic. She was almost dead during the move. She really didn't like being dehydrated. But I was surprised how fast she bounced back. I thought I was gonna lose a lot more plant. Like when I tell you, all of the balls were like shriveled up, but she bounced back. She's thirsty again, of course, but now I'm less scared about her dying. This little guy is very interesting. So I thought it was a Stephania erecta, but you lovely people let me know that she is something else. So I have to look in the comment section and find her proper name. But I noticed, and you all told me to give her like the brightest light possible. So I put her up here to see what happens. And I was stuck in this phase with her of only getting flowers, but now I actually have these cute little dainty leaves as well as flowers. But yeah, you guys were right on the money with that, and I just want to say thank you. And the bulb has like some more growth coming in, which is cool. And I've just been letting her do whatever she wants up here, since, you know, it's kind of like a shelf out of the way and I can just plop her on there. It's a lot less stressful than finding like a good place where she can vine so greatly. And I do see some more roots coming in. When I got her, she was pretty much unrooted, so any root growth is also very good to see. Oh my God, there's a helicopter. Go away. Kind of went away. This is my oldest plant, the last cactus I'll talk about. And this is her propagation. My friend actually asked me recently, she was like, what happened to that propagation you took off your cactus? And I was like, honestly, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on in the perlite in here. I was like, it just keeps growing. Like, this is growth. But do I know if she's actually rooted in here? She is rooted. I see a root. Okay, she needs soil. But yeah, this is the mama, my oldest plant. And this is her baby. So very proud of these two. They are icons. And I love the little bunny ear thing happening with her after I propagated her. So love these guys. And the last plant in our collection today is right down here. I will put in a little video of her, and that is my Hoya carnosa crimson princess. And she's doing really well. She likes it up here and she's beautiful. So now that my eyes are burning, I'm gonna take you downstairs. All right, and that's it for today's plant tour. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, thank you to Soltech for sponsoring today's video. If you wanna check them out, you can use code GOODandPlanty for 15% off your order, and they will be linked down below in the description box. Go check them out. I really genuinely love them so much. Please like this video if you enjoyed, leave a comment, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!